Okay, vertical scan. I have verbs: to have suspended, an infinitive, a participle, another infinitive. This is the only main conjugated verb, past tense. Probably it's going to be correct. He applied bold, saturated hues to large canvases and suspended them from ceilings or walls. This is a main sentence, part of my independent clause, and it has to be D. None of these can be conjugable verbs. They're all non-finite verbs. This is the only finite option. It's correct, D. Okay, quick vertical scan. It's a pronoun issue. Them, this, that, it. So them is the only plural one. I have a hunch that's going to be correct. I'm going to check that first. From 1858 to 1864, for example, she copied more than 800 of them. If they number in 800, they must be plural. It's not going to be this, that, or it. A is the correct answer. Okay, quick vertical scan. Looks like I have a pronoun issue. It, themselves, them, and itself. So is it going to be a reflexive pronoun here or not? Let's take a look. And then singular, plural. So scientists believe that unlike most other species of barnacle, turtle barnacles can dissolve the cement-like secretions they use to attach it to a sea turtle. So secretions, the turtles use, but I think secretions is going to be the antecedent to this, to attach them to a sea turtle shell, enabling the barnacles to move short distances across. Well, actually, are we talking about barnacles? Unlike most species of barnacle, the turtle barnacles can dissolve cement, so they use to attach themselves. It's they themselves that they're attaching to the sea turtle itself, to the shell. So this is reflexive and it is plural. So the secretions they use to attach themselves from the barnacles, plural. That's the correct answer. Okay, quick vertical scan is, will be, has been, was. So clear verb tense issue. Let's take a look. Occupying a significant part of modern day Nigeria, was one of the major powers in West Africa between 13th and 19th century. So this is past tense. It, not is or will be, was ruled by such and such. It has been ruled by, not quite right. It has been ruled by him, but then by others, and then maybe him again kind of thing. No, it was. At one time, simple tense, it was ruled by Oba Iware at that particular date and time. So that's like a literal time and event, which is another indication that this is the past simple tense. Okay, quick vertical scan. I see verbs: serving, having served, to serve. These are all non-finite verbs. Every one of them, they're participles and they are infinitives. The only conjugable verb here that's finite is see, served. My guess is that's going to be correct. So let's take a quick look. In 2011 documentary, such and such civil rights activist James Armstrong recounts how his barbershop in Birmingham, Alabama, served as a political hub for former members of the black community. So that is the main independent clause. It must be conjugated, that verb, to that main clause. C is the only answer that could do that. That's the correct answer. Okay, quick vertical scan. We're looking for verbs, outline, outlines. And then we've got this typical situation. We've got a perfect option. We've got a progressive or continuous option. And then we have simple tense that's present, S or no S on the end, depending on whether our subject is singular. And that's what we usually have to decide. So let's read that part. Eleanor Roosevelt and Indian acts as such and such were instrumental in drafting the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Okay, so this is a document that outlines. So it's a single document. Therefore, it outlines with an S in the simple present tense. It would have to be plural if it outlined without an S. So C is the correct answer. A document that outlines the basic freedoms to which all people are entitled. Okay, standard English, quick vertical scan. Looks like we've got verb issues. Reach, had reached, will reach, are reaching. Quite frequently, we have a perfect tense and a progressive tense. And then we have a simple tense. One's a future. Future sometimes comes into play, so I'm not sure here. Let's read. If simple sugars such as ribose and glycolaldehyde blank Earth from elsewhere and survived impact, so they survived in the past, they did something, they came to Earth in the past and survived impact in the past, a possibility such and such outlined in the past. We need the past, so it's not going to be reach, it's not going to be will reach, and it's not an ongoing action. It's going to be had reached. It's going to be the past perfect tense. So if the simple sugars had reached Earth from elsewhere and survived impact, so they had reached before they survived the impact and before the study outlined. So the past perfect tense is appropriate here. B is the answer. Number 41. Quick vertical scan. Looks like I've got apostrophes, so I've got possessive issues here. Let's take a look. Photographer Ansel Adams' landscape portraits are iconic pieces of American art. However, many of the photographer's early photos, so it's the early photos of the photographer, so photographers should be plural, and it's a single photographer, so the possessor is photographer single without an S, so I put an apostrophe S on the end. That looks good. That's not possible. That looks good. That's not possible. Okay? So now the question is photos itself possessive or not? Continuing my vertical scan. So many of the photographer's early photos of the landscape. So we already have the of the landscape in there. So photos is not going to be possessive. I don't want that. C is going to be the correct answer. The first word's possessive with apostrophe. The second word, photos, is not. K, standard English, quick vertical scan. I've got verbs. Flew, were flying, had flown, fly. Okay, so I've got a progressive option, a perfect option, and then I've got simple tenses. Flew or fly, past tense or singular present. Well, not necessarily, singular at all, but my guess is going to be fly, but let's take a look. Each year in the fall, the weather starts to cool. Northern hemisphere, millions of monarch butterflies journey south. Searching for food in warmer habitats, they fly thousands of miles. Okay? Not were flying, not had flown, perfect tense, and not flew, right? It's when the weather starts, they're searching for food at that moment in the present, and they fly in the present. That's the correct answer.